everyone, it's Jess with Made It Monday number 8. I wanted to show you the card we were doing before we started the video just because it has a lot of steps and it's kind of tricky to envision it in your mind, so I wanted to show you it right away. We're using 3 Lawn Fawn sets today, Bundle of Joy, Say Cheese, and Say Cheese 2. So what I've done here is stamp the Polaroid from Say Cheese 3 times, and then I stamped some extras with antique linen so that I could have a little window to build my scene in. We're going to be building 3 separate scenes today to represent different parts of a pregnancy, of what you go through during your pregnancy. So first of all is when you find out that you're pregnant, and this little panel is going to have the sentiment, there's a bun in the oven. And this card is for my sister who is due to have her baby in November. It's going to be her 3rd, so I'm really excited. What I'm doing here is making a mask of that little oven with the bun in it. And I'm going to use a lot of distress inks on this card because I'm entering it into a lawnscaping challenge. So I want, and they require you this week to use distress inks. So I wanted to incorporate those into this card. For the background here, I'm inking it up with antique linen distress ink, and I'm just using my foam applicator tool and starting off the card and going in circles and inking up the whole thing. Then I'm going to take the wood block stamp from Hero Arts. I think it's like Grid Design or something. I'll have to look for sure. You can always check my post. And I'm inking that up with antique linen and then just doing that on the background just to add a little interest back there. Maybe it could be tiles in a kitchen is kind of what I was thinking. So now I've decided I'm going to paper piece the oven together, and I'm using pieces of paper from the Cosmo Cricut deck Togetherness. And that's an older paper pack, but it's one of my all-time favorites. The patterns in there are just perfect for this kind of card. So I've got my oven all cut out there, and I am just taking a little red pieces to use for the knobs and for the handle just to kind of set them off a little bit. Now I wanted to actually bust out the distress inks again for the inside of the oven. So I just took that mask that I was using earlier and cut out the inside, and then I placed it back over, and I'm just masking off the sides with a Post-it there. And I want to ink up the inside with pumice stone distress ink, and that's kind of like a grayish, blackish ink if you do enough of it. But it comes across as, pretty gray, which I thought would be good for the inside of an oven. So again, I'm just going to ink up the whole piece, and I'm paper piecing that cupcake, so it doesn't matter if that gets ink on it. And then I will just go around the outside here and finish it up. And then we're going to add our little bun into the inside here using some dimensional adhesives. I wanted to kind of have it look like it was sticking out of the oven a little bit. So I didn't show you on the other pieces that I paper pieced, but I went around the outside of all of them with a Memento marker there. That's the brown one. And I'm stamping in all Jenny Bolin brown sugar, and it's not a perfect match, but it's so close that it really is perfect for that technique to go around the outside of the images just to finish them off and, not have any white edges showing. So I'm just adding the sentiment bun in the oven and then a little exclamation mark there at the end. And I'm going to, again, you see me run that Memento marker outside of the edges. It just works so well to make that look a little bit less, cut out. It looks a little more professional. Now, on all of the Polaroids, I wanted to kind of have a date stamp for when they were put together. So my sister found out she was pregnant in March of this year. So that is going to be our first date stamp on the first Polaroid. So I'm just putting March and then 2011 there at the bottom. And then I'm going to take my Zig 2-way glue pen and put it on the outside of the card. And I use that Zig pen for all of my paper piecing as well, just because the tip is so fine that it really, makes it easy to get into those tiny spaces. Well, first I have to bust out that Distress ink though and ink the outside. I'm using Antique Linen again and just going around the outside of the Post-it. I used a really light hand. I didn't want it to look too distressed, but I felt like the edges just needed a little finishing. So now I have my Zig pen gluing around the outside, and that one is done. All right, we are already on to our next little scene here. So this scene is going to have the stork with the baby flying over a little house here. And I die cut that house from the Love Lives Here dies from Paper Tray ink, and it comes with that little house with the heart in the middle. We're not actually using the heart, but it was a perfect size to use with this Polaroid. And then I made a little mask of a hillside there using a Post-it. So I've just Distress inked the top of the card there, or the Polaroid there, to have sky at the top. And now I am taking the reverse of that hill to get that all masked off so that I can put Distress ink on the bottom of the hill. And I use a lot of masking in this card. I didn't really realize how much I relied on that for this card, but it's a great technique, and it's one that always makes people, you know, oh, hey, how'd they do that? So I always think that's a good effect. Like, oh, that looks great. I wonder what they did. And a lot of times it's masking, because you can get pretty clever with pieces of the card that you mask off. And now I've just colored that in with the green, and you can see my house is white there. So I'm taking the reverse of that die cut, the cardstock that I cut it out of, and then just applying some temporary adhesive onto there. I use the Tombow Mono Multi temporary adhesive. And then I'm coloring the house with Antique Linen just to kind of tie it in to the Polaroid before it, so that they all kind of have a cohesive look. And after I removed it there, I noticed I had it a little off, so you could see some white parts, but Distress ink is so forgiving. You can just go right back in there and re-ink over those pieces, and it'll look fine. So now I am using Bundle of Joy on the Way, and I thought that the hillside provided a perfect place for the sentiment. So again, I'm taking the brown sugar and just stamping it in there. And now I'm getting my stork, and we are going to stamp that up top. And he is going to be paper pieced, so it doesn't matter that he's all covered up there. And then that little bundle that he's carrying will actually be set up on dimensional adhesive. And that's the same pattern paper that I used for the bun. So I always wanted it to be that pink pattern paper to kind of make it look like it was carrying throughout the months. And then I just wanted to show you this one finished. I just stamped the dates April through October at the bottom there. All right, we are already on our last card, or our last Polaroid. This one is going to say it's a girl because that's what she's having. And I stamped that little baby buggy there, and now I'm going to do some more inking, of course, because that's the challenge. I'm going to ink around the outside of the card. I don't need to mask it off here because I will be paper piecing it, but I had one already cut out, so I stuck it on there anyway. Now I'm using the Warren lipstick Distress ink on there and just going around the outside of it in slow circles and trying to decide, you know, where it needs more and where it needs less. Again, this is an easy technique that usually gives pretty great results. Now I am taking the background stamp from Hero Arts, and it's a polka dot background, and inking that up with Warren lipstick, and then just stamping it over the whole scene just to kind of provide a background there. Now this is my final card front. It is 4.5 by 9 inches, so it's huge. But this card is more like a gift also. I'm sure I will get her something, but I wanted this to be a really special card because it's a very special occasion. So I have my card front, and then I am inking this other little piece to go on it. This is in Fine Linen from Paper Tray, and the other one is Craft from Paper Tray as well. And I'm inking the outsides, and then I'm just going to adhere that onto the front with my ATG. And you can see all my little Polaroids off to the side there. And I am going to put all of those on there using my ATG again. I thought about, you know, using some dimensionals, but there's so much going on. It really didn't, you know, need to be popped out anymore. So, and I wanted the little pink things that were popped out to show up too. And I didn't give you a very good look at that last Polaroid, but I popped up on dimensional adhesives the baby buggy. So so every card had, or every Polaroid had an element that was raised. So I'm kind of playing with them to try to see how I'm going to attach them there. Hopefully the baby is born in November as planned, because I put that on the last Polaroid. I put November 2011. So it goes through all 9 months of the pregnancy. And I'm just kind of scooching that one under there, trying to get that to look good. And then to finish it off here, I'm going to use some Hero Hues gems. And I have some in the top corner and some in the bottom corner. And then 3 right above that last Polaroid there, just to kind of finish it off. I like to use that small, medium, large. I think that's a nice combo, and the Hero Hues packs come in that size, so it works out good. All right, here's the photo of the whole card again, and here's a close-up of each of those little Polaroids. The bundle of joy, and it's a girl. I hope you enjoyed the video today, and check out jesslarson.blogspot.com.